The Canon EOS R5 Mark II was supposed to be announced sometime between May the 21st and May the 23rd, at least according to Canon rumors in this published story on May the 9th, 2024. But today, Canon rumors has revised that date to a week earlier in a tweet published just a few hours ago. The big announcements, referring to the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, may be a week earlier than originally thought. Apparently, reading the calendar isn't an exact science. While no additional specifications were presented in this tweet, and Canon rumors as of the time of recording hasn't followed up in a post on canonrumors.com. However, based on a number of sources from Canon rumors and the Ordinary Filmmaker, these are the latest leaked specifications that we have for the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. And the sensor was just confirmed a couple of weeks ago. It's going to have a 45 megapixel stacked full-frame sensor. It's also going to have a new digic image processor. The Canon EOS R5 Mark II, as validated just a couple of weeks ago, isn't going to have a 62, 61, or 60 megapixel sensor. It's going to have a 45 megapixel sensor, the same resolution as it currently has in the Mark I, but it's going to be a stacked full-frame sensor, backside illuminated, a whole new sensor, and along with that, we're also going to get a new image processor. It's going to be capable of 60 frames per second continuous speed burst mode, but we don't know if it's going to be RAW, what type of RAW in terms of bitrate, whether it's going to be HEIF or JPEG. But one thing that differs from the Mark I is that the Mark II, well, it's not going to have a mechanical shutter. That's right, according to a reliable source at Canon Rumors, they have it on pretty good, well, they're pretty sure that there's not going to be any sort of mechanical shutter with the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. And in terms of artificial intelligence, and we've seen this with an awful lot of patent applications, there's going to be a lot of AI-based autofocus capabilities in this camera. So I'm really looking forward to that. One of the improvements based on the patent applications, and there's well over 12 of them, is we're going to have an improvement in subject and object tracking if that subject moves out of the frame temporarily or is temporarily obscured by another object. Now, in terms of video capabilities, the EOS R5 Mark II is going to be able to do 8K RAW. Yeah, no surprises, the Mark I could do 8K RAW, but one thing is left out here is what is the frames per second. Now, I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts it's going to be able to do at least 50 and 60 frames per second. Why is that? Well, the direct competitor to the Canon EOS R5 Mark II is going to be the Nikon Z8, which can do 8K up to 60 frames per second. So obviously there. Now in terms of 4K modes, it can do 4K, 24, 25, 30, 50, 60, 100, and a 120 frames per second. But again, that's what the Mark I can do. Now what I suspect with a new image processor, we're going to have more throughput here. And what I think we're going to see is that 4K HQ mode, not just in 24, 25, and 30 frames per second, but I believe that's going to extend all the way out to at least 4K, 50, and 60 frames per second, and maybe even 100 and 120 frames per second. So that's 8K full sensor readout, oversampled, 8K oversampled 4K. I really love the detail in 24, 25, and 30, and to see that in 50, 60, or even 100 and 120 frames per second, that would definitely be a big plus. And also, for those of you that love Canon Log 2, well, the Canon EOS R5 Mark II is going to have Canon Log 1, Canon Log 3, and Canon Log 2 if what Canon Rumors is telling us is to be true. That would be really cool. And again, a lot of these specifications here are coming from multiple sources at Canon Rumors and a few sources at mine. The only thing I've been able to validate 100% for sure is that it's going to have a 45 megapixel stacked full frame backside illuminated all new sensor. And that's a really big deal. Now in terms of 8K, obviously it's going to be able to do 8K RAW, but what frame rate? It's going to be able to do 4K up to 120, but will it go north of that? Canon Log 1, 2, and 3, that's impressive, but we haven't received any validation. Now, if we are supposed to get the Canon EOS R5, that puts an announcement right around May the 14th, 15th, or 16th. And if that's the case, well then that's just, well, 2 weeks away. And if it's just around 2 weeks away, that means we should start to get validated full leaked specifications from multiple sources. We should start to get pricing and leaked images. We should get a whole lot of information. And specifically, one thing that we should be getting from Canon is some sort of scheduled YouTube event, some sort of announcement. Whether sometimes these things can happen 2 weeks ahead of the actual event, the announcement. Sometimes it can be a week ahead. Sometimes, like the Canon EOS R3, There's no warning whatsoever, but if this is supposed to be a pretty big refresh of one of their most popular cameras, I can't see Canon not giving us some sort of warning that they're going to have a major announcement sometime at least 7 days before the event, but we'll just have to wait and see. So stay tuned, subscribe, choose all notifications, follow me on Twitter, because as soon as there's an update, I'll let you know. Now, in terms of pricing, we don't have any leaked pricing at this point, but if we take a look at the Canon EOS R6, the Mark I and the Mark II, we can see that they have the exact same price, $24.99 for the Mark I and $24.99 for the EOS R6 Mark II, based on when they were announced. There are sales on right now, and that doesn't really apply. And the reason for that is, well, the weakness of the Japanese yen. And really, the fundamentals haven't changed. And while the bank, or the central bank in Japan, has raised rates a little bit, I would expect to see the Canon EOS R5 Mark II right around the same price as, well, the Mark I. And knowing that the Nikon Z8 is the direct competitor, I can't see them going really much lower than $39.99, and I couldn't see them going much higher than $4,099. I think $39.99 makes an awful lot of sense, at least based on what we know at this point. But if you're tired of waiting for the EOS R5 Mark II, or you find the price is a little bit too expensive, then consider picking up the Canon EOS R5 Mark I. It's currently on sale at $31.99 at B&H, and Adorama is tossing in a SanDisk 128GB CF Express Type B card, as well as a card reader for the exact same price. So it's pretty exciting that we have an announcement for the Canon EOS R5 Mark II that's supposed to happen in just over 2 weeks. And that's one of the reasons why I do have the smart pre-order links in the description down below. These guys right here. But don't get too excited, these links aren't active right now. They will be active once the embargo's lifted, and that will happen sometime during the Canon scheduled event. So go ahead and copy down these links, put them in your favorite browser, bookmark them, and then once we get to that announcement, you're going to want to refresh these links every couple of seconds, so that way you can get in the queue, well, ahead of others, so you don't have to wait a long time. And this is an example of what you'll see. You see, the smart pre-order links will list off every kit package offered by Canon and B&H at B&H, or Canon and Adorama at Adorama, allowing you to get your order in before the masses, selecting the best option for you instead of having to jump from link to link. And I'll also be doing a live stream 19 minutes before the scheduled event. Again, once we know what that time of that scheduled event is, what date and time it's going to be, I'll have my expert panel. We'll cover the latest information, leaked specifications, images, and pricing information. Then we'll provide our analysis and cover the announcement live. But again, the main benefit to these smart pre-order links is they save you about 5 to 10 seconds in pre-ordering the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, because it shows you every single kit package available. And the key today, we see that even just with the recently announced Canon RF 200 to 800, which was announced in November the 2nd, people that pre-ordered that very same day still don't have it now. And that's December, January, February, March, April, 5 months ago. I would have thought that would have been over with. So the main thing of saving 5 to 10 seconds, that could mean the difference between you getting your camera within a couple of weeks of the announcement on the date it's first shipped, to waiting 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 months, and nobody wants that. So if you want to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest regarding the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, you might want to subscribe to this channel and choose all notifications. Or you might want to follow me on Twitter, because that way you get to stay up to date on all the major camera news and rumors, as well as pricing and camera market forecasting. One thing about Twitter that I don't have is any sort of limitation. With YouTube, I'm limited to about 3 videos a day. If I publish more than that, well, they just don't send out notifications. Whereas Twitter, they don't really care. I can tweet till the hearts, I can tweet as long as I want, is what I'm trying to say. But thank you so much for everybody tuning in. And by the way, if you do use my smart pre-order links, or if you do use my affiliate links, these guys right here, to purchase any camera gear, accessories, or lenses, I do get anywhere from 2 to 12% back, which goes right back into supporting this channel. And a big thanks to all of you that have used them, especially in the last couple of days. It doesn't matter if it's just a $10 item, such as a recorder or a memory card, or it's a high-end camera. Every single purchase is greatly appreciated. And what is also appreciated is that you're still watching here at the end of the video. So thank you very much. Have yourself a great day. And I wouldn't be surprised if I have a follow-up video coming out later today, because CanonRumors.com hasn't posted any information. And I wouldn't be surprised to see if they provide some other follow-up, some additional morsel of, well, truth or details or leaks or something. But anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you again soon.